journal video. My little crystals are dangling in the thing. Today's been a emotional day. Not only emotional, it's the resurfacing of emotions that I refused to feel in the past, and they're just resurfacing, and it's almost, as I can describe it, as grieving what was once was, and it's a new year, it's a new day, it's a new month. Just getting past those feelings that still hold me down to the past. Really raw. I've been crying, but that is the human emotion system working its wonders. I'm grateful for being able to get past that numb feeling and to feel emotional and to allow myself to feel sensitive. You're beautiful. There's no reason why you choose to suffer. What's the reason for that? You think you should suffer because of mistakes you made in the past, things you've said to people, things you've done to hurt people, opportunities you passed up. Life is so divine. Life is so divine, and it's what you make of your life. Through my video journals, I am pretty much documenting my emotional growth, my spiritual growth, my mental growth. My physical growth. To be very honest and frank, this is the first time in my life that I found myself actually caring for myself to maintain a healthy mindset and a healthy lifestyle. This is the first time in my life where I've actually focused on that. So I think I'm realizing it's also the grievance of a 15-year-old me needing the self-care and love that I am finding to give to my 20-year-old self right now. Saying that out loud, it really kind of just puts a point in perspective. You lose yourself whenever you get stuck in your mental. You lose yourself so bad. It's not a bad thing. It just sets you up to find who you really are, but it really is. If you are on a healing journey, it really, that's a lot of emotions. Just be accepting. I was talking to my counselor last week, and she told me this. One want to say it was a phrase or a statement of just, like the victimizing yourself and the why me. You're doing yourself more harm by doing that, by asking yourself why me. Things don't happen to you. I saw someone walking and her butt caught me off guard. Desiree. Things do not happen to you. Things happen for you. And it's your decision whether to view that as a victimized mental state or from your higher self. It truly is. It truly is. I'm gonna be very vulnerable and honest. I went to bed probably around 2 o'clock in the morning last night. Got stuck scrolling through social medias and switching through apps. Not even looking to find something, just using it as a distraction to not take care of myself. And saying that out loud, it's different than just knowing that in your head. Just you're using this as a distraction to not take care of yourself fully how you know you deserve to be taken care of. So that's what I did until 2 in the morning, just scroll through social media. The only part of my nighttime routine that I really incorporated to my night last night was I fed myself. I didn't go to bed starving, which is, it's a step. It's little steps like that is what I have to appreciate for myself instead of comparing to other people's lives and just being like, well, they did so much more. Some people right now in this moment are capable of doing more with their energy than you are being capable of doing with your energy, and that is not your fault. That doesn't mean you're not okay. It just means you have little things to work on. So just keep that in mind. It's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's things wrong with the habits in which the way you do things and the way you think about things. After going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, my alarm clock, I guess, I forgot to turn that on, and I slept all the way until 1 in the afternoon. And it's little things like that. It's little things like sleeping in for 10, 11 hours. Makes me realize truly how much I decide not to be in control of my own life on purpose. How self-destructing is that? Honestly, I'm looking at myself in my eyes. I'm not looking at whoever's watching this and judging you. I'm looking at Deziramariya more. How destructive is that? Stop comparing yourself to other people's lives and what they're doing, what works for them, and create your own idealistic routine that suits you, not other people, not benefiting other people, you. It's time that you cut the codependency out of your life, Desiree. I understand you are only 20 years old, but carrying on, living life with the feelings of pain and suffering I'm not saying I fully know the cause of my root and pain and suffering, because it goes back generations and generations, but it is slowly working towards that one root, which I seem to be getting closer and closer to. Self-esteem issues relate to codependency. Whenever you don't feel whole yourself and balanced yourself, and you don't feel, when you bare minimum don't even feel good about yourself, you tend to be codependent on other people to make those emotions for you apparent. And that's so selfish. It's so selfish to go and cry and beg another human being that I'm lonely and I'm sad and I need comfort, whenever I don't even give that to myself. I put myself in uncomfortable situations, maybe for the growth aspect, or maybe it's overall disturbing my peace, which is the only thing that, one of the necessity needs that for sure is a focus and primal point in people's lives. After waking up at 1:00 p.m., I felt guilty, and I assumed I am ashamed of myself for this action automatically, without it being like a mental process. It automatically went to those aspects as soon as I woke up, and I could have dealt with that. And, you know, gotten up and instantly, like, I was hungry whenever I woke up, so, you know, fueled my body with the nutritious I need, or little things like stretching my body after laying there for countless hours, or drinking water. It's the little habits that I've noticed that I'll complain about how sad I am in life, and I'll criticize myself for that, but then what are you truly doing to take the steps forward to nourish your mind, body, and soul? I did read a book earlier, and it kind of just, it's called Codependent No More by Melody Beattie. My psychologist that I was seeing in the summer recommended me that book, and it took me 6 months to actually get around, and maybe she was recommending me good, taking the advice of other people, because I know just listening to myself and my own thoughts, my own opinions, and my own beliefs, they're truly not gonna take me that far in life. Yeah, I'll get somewhere, but it's not. When you're connected to other people and you're open to receiving, you do magnetize so much more in your life. It's little things like that. Open your heart to experience. You're here to experience. Don't be afraid of lessons you're gonna learn. You don't have to learn them the hard way. It can be simply by noticing, for example, a family member was going through something and it left them heart cold. Honestly, it left them heart cold. And they learned their lesson after that, did they? Maybe, maybe not. It is your decision to decide for yourself how hard you really are going to make life for yourself. It doesn't have to be hard. You can flow with life and still magnetize so much abundance. working on those codependent issues and realizing, I had this realization yesterday of no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to tell you how proud they are of you. No one is coming to congratulate you. It sounds so rude, I agree, and it sounds so blunt of a human to say. Once you really sit with that thought and you come to terms with it, you'll relieve yourself of so much external stress that you did not even realize you were putting on yourself. The only person coming to tell you that they're proud of you and that you're doing good for yourself is yourself. It's you. So take me back to my sleeping in for 10 hours. I'm not proud of that, but I can only work on it. You don't need to beat yourself up for every inconvenience that happens in your life. It's been a whole 6 entire months of my life since me and my previous lover had broken up after it felt like 5 years, but realistically I only believe it to be 2 years of young love, experiencing that feeling of pure love at a young state with another being, but still having those issues to independently work on within yourself, so that you know one day that you are capable and you are deserving of that love that is coming into your life. I was a hurt little girl whenever me and my previous lover had gotten together, and I didn't know how to make decisions for myself. I didn't know what I believed in. I didn't know that there were people out there hurting just as bad as I was that were still capable of loving. And that was so beautiful to me, and it captivated my mind. It truly did. I was so hurt that I allowed myself to be disrespected. I allowed myself to have absolutely no boundaries for myself. I allowed myself to not even 1% be taking care of myself on a daily basis, because you know what? I had someone else to love me. I didn't need to love myself because I had someone else to love me, and look where that backfired. Like I was saying a little bit earlier in this video, it is so smart and powerful of human beings to take other humans' experiences in life and just learn off that while you can. You don't have to go through the hurt just to get the good. Honestly, you're gonna have sad times in life, yeah. I've realized that, and those sad times, after the rain is gone, the light comes out, and you're growing, and you're fulfilling your dreams, and you're fulfilling your soul. So then in the end, I'm thinking, I spent a majority of my day distracting myself doing things I know have no play in my personal development. Scrolling through TikTok for hours does not have, just because you're you see something and you're like, oh, that could be me. You have so many mindsets that you're coming across when you don't even you can't even sense your own mindset. So why even corrupt yourself like that? Am I depressed? I don't know. I truly don't know. Am I sad? Yeah. I truly am sad. Am I a sad person? No. I'm not a sad person. I'm happy. Let me take that phrase back. As an emotional person, I am truly loving and sensitive and glowing and naturally in my state of being. I am in an abundance being. I feel so abundant whenever I'm not in my emotional states like this. I am so abundant. But instead of beating myself up for why aren't you feeling abundance? Life is a roller coaster, and it seems so cheesy and paradoxical. I don't know if I just made that word up, but it sounds like I did. Paradoxical. Yeah. You truly cannot always stay up. There's no such thing as constantly being in a high state of being. There's no such thing. There is no such thing, and I refuse to live my whole life thinking that I should always be positive, that I should always be working. I relate my productiveness to my worth as well, and how much I get things done. And clearly that affects my own being, because that is not true. Just because mind you, it is 6 o'clock. I am a young adult with a traumatic childhood, right? Clearly, I have some fucking issues I have to deal with. Thank you. I wouldn't be willing to work on those feelings though if I wouldn't already have saw a blip of my future where I was consistent and I did stay to my goals. I've been recording for 23 minutes. To be very open and honest and frank, 23 as a number hits my core. I am not vulnerable enough yet to speak on that subject to strangers to me watching this video potentially. I went through some tough shit, and I did. That was a low in my life. I went through some very deep, I'll call it codependency. That's what happens whenever I realize I expect other people to take care of me before I take care of myself. I expected someone else to be taking care of me. And where did that get you, Desiree? Back to square one. I was about to say something about really kind of feeling about complaining about being alone. But to be honest, I have noticed at this point in my life, I would rather be alone to be surrounding myself with people that don't have my best interest even in their heart. Why are you surrounding yourself with people that don't even care about you? Think about that. It'll hit the core, I promise you. So yeah, you can complain about being alone all you want, but your peace is being protected. I haven't eaten all day either. Another one of the things I've noticed I do whenever, I said I don't know if I'm depressed earlier. You know what? A denial in each. I'm denying my emotions. My whole life I've been in and out of clinical depression. In and out. On top of that, I am depressed from things I have experienced in life that just left me with depression that I'm still finding ways to cure myself with, pretty much. I was diagnosed with PTSD at 15. Post-traumatic stress disorder. And there are symptoms that go within the PTSD. Anxiety, depression. I've noticed I think PTSD is a little bit different for everybody and how it affects their being. Attachment issues as fuck. Getting over that. Whenever I'm only in my own head and not my body as a whole. My mind doesn't care about growth. Your ego does not care about your growth, so why are you listening to your ego? That's another one. I think I'm gonna laugh at myself a little bit watching this over. Because I am so curious on how many good points I hit. I'll hit good points and then not even finish that point. I'll carry on to another point. But you know what? I've been going to the counselor and I might have ADD that I never knew about. Never once in my life. Attention deficit disorder. And I'm going to an actual psychologist this Friday to be diagnosed to what am I dealing with now from the cause of PTSD at such a young age. What did that have an effect on how did that have an effect on my mental? I always questioned that, and I knew, I got this feeling in my gut, just, if you're questioning what it did to you, are you currently going through something and you don't even know that about yourself? I'm aware, but I'm not a psychologist to where that thought relates to this. I can't completely pinpoint what disease I'm going through. Practically. Depression is a disease. Depression is curable though. It's curable. And that's something I learned relatively recently. At such a young age, feeling depression so deep like that, you kind of just feel like your whole life is going to be like that. And it leaves you with such a hopeless, gray world. It really does. It really does. I didn't have those resources as a kid to begin my nurturing then. I grew up around drugs really heavy. I grew up around really codependent, depressed, traumatized people themselves. Pretty much people just being ran by their mind. Very egoic people that had effect on my mental itself and my emotional being. I can admit that, yes, that did have an effect on me. I'm not perfect. I'm not made to be some big muscle macho female. I'm a woman also. That's something I should take in consideration whenever I am feeling like this. Women are so beautiful and miraculous with how deep their emotions go. It's so mesmerizing to me. I could cry. It's so beautiful to me. So also remembering myself as dang, I'm being pulled up on. I'm at my little private beach. I call this the spot. Eat my little chicken tender. I live in a small town in Ohio, and a lot of the people here, I'm not a racist person at all. At all. I see both aspects. I'm mixed. There's no reason to be racist towards any culture out there. I see it all. I live in a town that is predominantly older, almost retired white people. This is no melting pot of the city, let me tell you. Let me just say that again. This is no melting pot of a city. You can kind of just see the little disappointment in my face. From being in the city, I've noticed, you know, you tend to focus on a lot of your light sides, being around people that think they're perfect when they're not. They're just as cold-hearted people. People aren't honest with themselves nowadays, so you can't even notice you're a cold-hearted person without admitting to yourself you're cold-hearted. also need to take my own advice. I promise you, yeah. I've noticed though, being around constant perfectionism pushes you to only see the light in yourself. And it's almost like a refusal to see the dark in yourself, your shadow side. It's almost a refusal to that. So at the end of the day, if you're not consciously working with your light and your dark aspects of yourself, you're unbalanced. You're an unbalanced human being. At the beginning of this video, I came to the beach. I was gonna make a video about my previous lover and how I loved him so deeply, but clearly, and how I miss him so deeply, may I add. But clearly the universe has more in store for that situation. You can miss people, and it just shows you, no matter how, it doesn't matter, it could be 2 days you're apart from someone. I haven't seen my ex-lover in 6 months, and still the feeling in my heart of the love I had for him, grieving out of existence, pretty much. You can hold that love you have for somebody, and still, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you because you love someone that is no longer in your life again. There's nothing wrong with that. Where it starts to go wrong in that scenario is whenever you love yourself so deep, whenever you love that other person so deeply, no matter how toxic they are to you, no matter how they treat you, anything, where it goes wrong. I'm gonna say this in my eyes. When it goes wrong is whenever you choose to retake that own love you have for yourself, and you're choosing to put it back into a toxic energy. Which lifestyle would you rather have more? Your peace being destroyed, or you grieving something that was once was? Either or, I know what is best for me, and what I have experienced with going back to previous lovers after what was done, there's no benefit to it at all. You were causing more emotional disturbance to your nervous system than you may realize. People and human beings are forever going to do what they think is right for them, what they believe in, and follow their own opinion. I am going to give a little bit of unsolicited advice, and it's just follow that natural feeling of what your body is telling you. Right now, my body is telling me, give me a second. My body is telling me I'm alive. So I should use that to my advantage. It's little things like that in which I find beauty in life. So instead of ending this video and going back to my home and doing this same exact thing I did to start this whole entire day, I'm gonna revise the narrative of this whole day and the story I was telling myself. I really on and off contemplated. I'm an honest person. I know I am not perfect, so I'm not going to dim a light and shine some perfectionism on myself. There's no reason for that. I'm hurting as a person. I can be honest with that and I can accept that. I'm going through changes in my life that obviously I never expected to go through or I saw coming. And instead of being mad at that, the only way that I noticed myself coming to terms with that is the radical acceptance of you can be in control of your reality, but not really your life. You can't control your life and where you go and who you end up with. You can to some existential point, but it's co-creating with the universe. Create your life and how you ideally imagine to look like and magnetize those feelings, and the universe is going to reciprocate that. I vouch for that so deeply. Whenever at the beginning of the year, I had I had a lot of willpower to keep going and doing a lot of things I was doing, but I noticed I kind of burnt myself out because I was putting too much pressure on myself, and it kind of just got me to a point where I am restabilizing now. I'm restabilizing who I am as a person. Completely. Just because I got a pretty face too doesn't mean it's easy. Because underneath this pretty face, I promise you, we're going through it. We are going through it. I have been recording for 40 minutes. I do not edit these raw and unfiltered. There's nothing. Oh, I could go back and edit out the part that I said the word fuck. But there's no point in that. I'm human. I do what humans do. And that's not living by perfection. Like I was saying, moral of this video, it's okay to grieve a toxic relationship. We all have bad days, I promise you. Just because some people aren't vulnerable enough to show it on the internet and showcase the sad feelings doesn't mean they don't exist in people. Your feelings are valid, I promise you. Stop invalidating your feelings and letting other people invalidate those for you as well. You are capable of growth. You are capable of restoring yourself. I stopped making promises to myself when I noticed promises don't last forever. I channel that energy into a belief system. I believe you are capable of restoring yourself. I believe you are capable of fighting through this and getting through a low point in your life to find such a high point in your life where You feel light and blissful. Don't get too attached to that, because what goes up must go down. It is cause and effect laws of the universe. One thing I have to say before ending this video is the fact of how these younger generations that are being born into this world, how we were blessed with a different kind of consciousness. We were blessed with a different kind of awareness to see things differently. So stop ignoring those seeings of differently. You are you for a reason. Everything that you were made up of is for your own potential. It truly is. I am a Virgo sun, a Libra moon, and a Sagittarius rising. And as I was digging a little deeper into my astrological beings, I truly started to notice how bare minimum with my big three, how divine it is to be created with such a being of abilities, but those abilities in your being match the experiences you go through. You are so capable of getting through any experience you go through. You are so capable of it because you were made up of it. You wouldn't be who you are if you weren't capable of it. I love you. And we're gonna get through it.